And welcome to the castle, everybody. This is Nightsaber Z42, and we're back with another tutorial on Star Wars FFG and Roll20, but this one's going to be a little bit different. This is going to be a little tutorial on what would you do, or what are some options for you and your players if you don't have a pro subscription to utilize the API. And so, with that being said, let's just jump right into it. There's a couple of different ways that you can actually play without utilizing the character sheet and its API. I would still, if you were using Roll20, I would go ahead and set up the character sheet API version on your actual game. That way you can have all of your stats and your obligations or your equipment and whatnot, whatever it is that you're using, you're going to have it here to access, mainly just for the players to have and also for the GM to see. Okay? That way you're all on the same page and you can see everything and you're not getting blindsided by anything. You would not be able to roll because you're not utilizing the API scripts. So how do we roll dice? Well, the simplest way is to use Discord. And you're going to need a very little handy bot. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So here's my Discord channel. It's got my general channels, selfless plugin, by the way. And I have my my voice for my games, and I've also got my text channels. So the first thing that you're going to do, click on the plus. This is assuming that you know how to do Discord and all that, but we're going to add a server. I'm just going to go ahead and create a little server. This is going to be the YouTube test roll server. Okay. Nothing fancy or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and click out of that. And now I have my text channel and I have my voice channel. Just for clarity's sake, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename this. And this is just practical things that you would do. This is going to be the game. Whoops. This is going to be the game channel that we're utilizing. And then I'll also have the text channel for rolls. So there we go. I have my rolls channel and I have the general voice channel for my players. Okay, so how do we get the Discord bot? Well, let's go ahead and do a quick search for that. Star Wars FFG Discord type bot. And boom, Discord SWRPG assistant bot. This is the D1C3 bot. And what you're going to do, I would go here and invite the D1C3 to your Discord server. So if we click that, you'll get this little pop-up. So add bot to, and we get to select our server. And I'm going to go ahead and add it to the YouTube test roll server because the castle, which is my personal server, already has it. So we'll go ahead and continue, use external emojis. That is good. And I'm not a robot. You're the robot. All right, it has now been authorized. This page kind of has a little bit of an overview of what commands you can do for the Discord bot. I'm actually going to go in depth in this video. So I am very sorry if this turns out to be a lengthy one as opposed to my previous videos, but I really want to make sure that if you are one of my players or if you're looking for information on how to utilize this bot, that you have all of the information you need right here. Aside from this page, you can actually go to the Sky Jedi's bot Emporium, where you can have general information as well as test out the roles yourself before you actually invite the bot. You can ask questions, and you can even have open sessions, and you can even play Keyforge. Look at this. How cool is that? All right. So anyways, let's go back to our YouTube test roll server. So D1C3 bot has been added. Now, as a general rule, the first thing I'm going to have to access for all of my players is some sort of help Okay, so if you do exclamation point help, it'll access general commands. Now, the cool thing is, I'm going to attach this nifty little sheet that I've just created before I made this video of a list of pretty much almost all of the commands. It's also divided. It's got the help commands, or the ones that I thought would be most helpful. It's got those at the top. It's got the different just basics. So if I'm using the Genesis rule system, I could use just the Genesis dice. Or if I'm using the Legend of the Five Rings dice, I can use just that, as well as polyhedral dice. I can reset the prefix of the bot. Instead of using exclamation point, I could use a different symbol, as well as how to roll. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and put a break right there. So this is going to be in the description in the video. So if you need help or you need some sort of cheat sheet for you to utilize, this will be there for you and it'll be shared. You can download it, use it, give it to your players. This is for you guys for whatever you need it for. But I do want to mention that this is not my work. I mean, putting this into the Google Sheets is my work, but the actual program itself, that is from Sky Jedi. And so I definitely want to make sure that he gets credit, or she, for all the work that he or she has done for this program. So with that being said, what I would do, I would give this sheet to my players or have it accessible to them. Or I could do something else. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put this over here so I can see my Discord. So what I would do is type in a list of all of the help topics. So like help roll, which will show you all of the how to roll the dice and stuff. Help reroll, which will show you the commands for rerolling dice. Help destiny, for managing your destiny pool, and probably for your players, help char or care for characters. This is how to set up a simple character, and help init for initiative. And I think that's pretty much it. Yes. Okay, so once I have done that, I'm gonna pin all of these. Now, the way that Discord pin works, the newest pin is going to be at the very top. So I'm actually going to work my way down here and pin. Oh yeah, pin it. Go to the next one, pin it. Scroll up, pin. Reroll help. Let's pin it. Yes, this one's next. Oh yeah, and the general help, pin it. And so now whenever I click on pinned messages, it's going to have the help contents first and then the most relevant for my players, and they can just scroll and they can just always have this help here while in Discord. That way they don't need this sheet open all the time, or maybe you're not going to give it to them because you're evil, but they would at least have this to utilize. Okay, so let's go over some of these commands now. I've already shown you all of the help commands that I think are relevant. So let's go ahead and go through some of the commands. Let's say that I was using Legend of the Five Rings dice, and I need to switch back to Star Wars. Exclamation part Star Wars RPG. We'll actually go ahead and set that. The D1C3 will now use Star Wars RPG dice. Cool. Let's say I need to roll D100. So I will go to exclamation point poly 1D100, and it'll go ahead and give me the roll. So 1D100, the result was 84. Or like if I'm doing just general Dungeons and Dragons, 1D6 plus 5 would give you, please auto scroll. Oh, I totally didn't even put the right command. Poly 1d6 plus 5 would be 11. So 1d6, I rolled a 6 plus the 5. Now the only thing it does not do, it does not actually have two different dice rolls. So if I cannot do this, 1d6 plus 1d4, it doesn't work. It's just gonna have different rolls. So it's going to have the 1d6 roll, which is 4. It's going to assign the plus as a 1 value, and it's going to roll the 1d4. So what I would have to do is that, and I'd have to just mentally add those up together if you're doing something like that. Let's say that you need to change the prefix of your dice spot because you're using exclamation points for something else. Exclamation point prefix, and let's do money symbol, and now it'll switch it over to, oh, does not have a roll high enough to change the prefix. Ouch. Ouch. Your roll has to actually be high enough to. Okay. That's sad. There goes my whole little bit of motivation, or my pride right there. But let's go to the meat and greedy. The meat and potatoes. So I need a roll. And Star Wars FFG has very specific dice for those rolls. So I can either put in roll, or I can put in exclamation point R. And let's say that I need to roll 2 yellows and 2 purples. There you go. And it'll even tell you the final result. Or I can go ahead and put 2Y and 2P, and it will give you the same type of roll. There you go. Okay. So what if I need to label it? Maybe this is for an attack roll. I can put in exclamation or quotations attack, and now it'll actually label that roll. So if my GM can actually go up back and see that, oh, your attack result was 3 failures. You suck. So you lose. Okay. So there you go. But sometimes I might need to re-roll. So exclamation point re-roll, and same for the exact same roll as the previous, and boom, I am the master. I have a triumph. Look at that. I am the best. Or I forgot to add something. I forgot to add the boost die that my ally gave me on his turn. So re-roll, add, and then B for blue. And it'll roll that die separately, and then it'll add it to the previous roll. So you see my previous roll was 2 threat and 1 triumph. Well, my boost die gave me 2 advantages, so it got rid of the 2 threats, and I am left with the 1 triumph. Oh yeah, I am the master. So there you go. Real quick, so a part of the sheet I've also included the actual the identifiers for the rolls. So P equals purple, R is red, and K is black. That actually caught me for a loop because if you're used to the Star Wars character sheet, BLK is black, but for this dice roller, K is black. It's also got the force die and the light pips and dark pips, as well as the actual symbols on those dice. So success to despair and all of that. So there you go. So that's on how to roll and re-roll. So let's say that you're setting up your session at the very beginning, and the first thing you probably should do is roll your destiny pool. So let's take a look. You already got that. Destiny. Okay, so I can view the destiny pool, but as you can see, I don't have a destiny pool because it's blank. We have not rolled for that yet. So instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and roll for destiny. So destiny roll, and that'll give me 1 white die, and I got 2 black pips, so it'll automatically add it to the destiny pool. Now, if you are a force user, okay, and your force, what do they call it? Force characteristic, or your force value is greater than 1, your force rating is greater than 1, you will have to roll each one. So as a character, I would probably roll another one. Oh yeah, give me those dark side points. Yeah. So just be aware of that. I haven't figured out a way to put in like exclamation point destiny 2 roll or something like that. I don't think it works like that. So now that we've set up our destiny pool, my players can go ahead and spend some light side points. Oh, but guess what? You don't have any light side points. Or I, as a GM, can spend those dark side points. And for that, it's going to be a D. And of course, as per the rules, the dark side point is going to turn into a light side point. So there is that. Okay. So I think this is where there's a discrepancy. Let me check. No. Okay, there's a discrepancy coming up because you can set the destiny pool manually, but this is actually not what you do. Actually, it's not N, it's going to be D. So here's what I mean. I'm gonna manually set the destiny pool, so maybe it's 2L and 3D. Or actually, let's do it the way first. So 2L and 3N. Notice that it only gave me the 2 light side points. So I followed it right here. But Destiny, as it's already set before, D is dark. So I think that's an error. Just a misprint. It's supposed to be Destiny set, let's do 3L and 3D. And now I have 3 light side points and 3 dark side points for my rolls. Okay. Whoa. So, with that being said, after you roll your destiny pool, at the end of the session, you can, of course, reset it, and now it becomes 0. So, your players can take away their light side points, and you can use your dark side points and all of that. So, there you go. That's a little tutorial on the destiny pool. I'm gonna skip crits for a moment, which is next on my sheet, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about setting up a simple character. So if I go to that, I can see a list of characters. Okay. Or what does it say? It says simple character stat manager, but I have no characters. So let's set a character. So exclamation point character chart setup, and let's give our character a name. His name is going to be Dave, and we need to determine he's going to have 10 max wound and 5 strain, and he'll start off with 500 credits. And so there we go. His wounds are 0 at 10 because we count up for our wounds, and when we reach over 10, we suffer a critical wound. So that's how it works. And he's got 500 credits, just how we set it up. So wounds comes first, then strain, and then credits. And you can see it in the my Discord Dicebot sheet that I made for you guys. It actually has some examples for each of the roles, or each of the relevant roles. So you could always just look at the roles and practice yourself. So we've set up a character. I'm actually going to set up another character for reasons that'll become clear later. So Jane is way tougher than Dave, but maybe she's only got 100 credits. So there we go. There's Jane. So we got Dave and Jane. But let's say that Dave takes some damage. He was a little too reckless. So we're going to go with Char with a W for wounds, and we're going to give him 2 wounds. So this is where you're gonna have to think a little bit backwards, because remember the wounds are like you're going up to those. The more damage you take, the more wounds you have. If you're healing, you're gonna be taking away wounds. So Dave now has -2 wounds, and now he's back to 0, which is full HP. Or if he's taking strain, we'll add 3 strain. I wonder what happens if we give him... Okay, nothing. I wonder what happens if we go all the way. Dave is incapacitated. Look at that. It actually tells you. Okay, so let's go ahead and heal him up. Dave, you shall be all right. Let's take away those strain. And now he is at 0 out of 5. So there we go. Pretty cool, huh? So if I need to go ahead and give him some credits, it's going to be C. And maybe he's getting paid today. He's getting 200 credits. So he gets 200 credits and now he has 700. Okay, so... Oh, ba-da-ba-ba. Never mind. There we go. You can see that as compared to Jane, Dave has 700 credits while she only has 100 credits. And just a simple exclamation point char is going to give you a list of all the characters. Also, list will also give you a list of all the characters. So there's actually 2 commands for that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and change that on my sheet while I thinking about it. There you go. So let's see, what is next? What can I talk about next? Obligations. So let's say that we're doing an Edge of the Empire game, and my characters, they need their obligations. So character or chair O, Dave, he's going to have +5 debt. And there we go. Yeah, it has been set as debt. But Jane, maybe she's got, whoops, I forgot the O. Jane has +5 debt, and she's also going to have another type of debt because, you know, she needs to buy things. So we're going to give her another debt. Oh, it's going to just change her debt to 10. So you can't have different types of debts. That's good to know. So let's give her +5 betrayal. So now she's got a debt of 10 and a betrayal of 5. Okay. Likewise, I can do the same with duty if I'm running an Age of Rebellion. Instead of O, I would just put D, and it's going to follow the same formula. So +5 and whatever duty name that you have for it. So let's say that Dave takes +5, or what am I doing? W. Dave takes +5 wounds. Okay, so he's at 5. Uh-oh. Looks like we better give Jane a stim pack. So it's going to be exclamation point character I, and we're going to type in her name, and we're going to give her +1 stim pack. Whoops, stim pack. There you go. So that has been added to her following inventory. So let's see real quick. There you go. You can see that Dave is wounded. He's got his obligations over there, and Jane has her ton of obligation, but she's got a stim pack. And so let's say that we use that on him. So we're going to go ahead and do the I, Jane, -1. Oh, that's an exclamation mark. Stim pack. And make sure that you actually type it in correctly, because if it's different, it's not going to register. So we take away the stim pack, and now we can go ahead and heal up Dave for, I think it's -5. Is the stim pack for your first stim pack of the day. So there you go. We have successfully added in, taken away a stim pack. So I can also modify maximum strain. So maybe I get the toughness career trait. So modify, and let's give Dave +2 max strain. So now his strain has been modified to 7. And Jane is also getting beefier. She's getting more max wounds. So now her wounds have been modified to have a maximum of 25. Okay. So let's say that I need to look up just the character status of one of my players. just put status in Dave, and now I can see everything that is just specific to Dave. But remember, if I want to see everybody, I just can put exclamation char, and there you go, or char and list, and it'll list all of the characters. Char reset will delete all characters saved under this server or under this chat. Let's do a test. Yep. So everything that you do is specific for that specific channel. So that's good to know. So if I have multiple games of Star Wars running, I would make a separate channel for each of them, and that way their characters can be saved under that one chat. I'm not going to reset here because I'm going to use them for something else here a little bit later. Oh no! Dave has suffered a critical injury. So what do we do? As a GM, I'm going to go ahead and roll for crit. Boom, I rolled a D100 and the result was 12. And it'll even tell you what that does and what you need to roll to heal it. So sudden jolt, the target drops whatever is in hand. And Dave is going to have to go ahead and add that to his crit. So what we'll do, it's going to be char, crit, and Dave plus whatever I rolled, which was 12, and that will add the crit injury to him. Unfortunately, this does not keep track of, so like let's say I roll crit. I wonder if this will work. Good. Okay. So let's say that I know that Dave has already suffered one crit. I would just add a plus 10. So you can see that I rolled 71, but since I know that I'm rolling for Dave, I get to roll plus 10, and now it becomes an 81, which is winded. And then I would just go ahead and add that to his character. So there, now he's got 2 crits. The sudden jolt, and the winded. Oh, man, you better get to that back to tank and heal it up, dude, or else you're gonna end up dead. So, likewise, I can get rid of those crits, but I do need to make sure that it is the correct number. So, like, I put in 13. I don't have 13, so nothing happens. But if I put in minus 12, that will take care of the following critical injury. And then let's say that he spent a little bit more time in the back to tank, and now he has no critical injuries. So there you go. So make sure that the numbers actually match up the critical injuries that he has listed under his character name. Let's say though that my ship gets a crit. So ship crit, and there you go. Nav computer failure. Oh no, now we're stranded out in space. Better repair that so we can jump to hyperspace. And likewise, actually we never set, I guess what you would do is you would make a ship character, and then you could add the critical injury to the ship itself. Actually, that wouldn't work either. Oh boy, is there... No, it does not look like. It doesn't look like we can add ships. That's interesting. Oh well, I guess you're gonna have to remember that on your own. Oh well, let's move on. So we have our characters set up. We got Dave and we got Jane set up. We have their obligation and whatnot set up. So let's say that I need to trigger their obligation. It's actually fairly simple. Just put in obligation. The total group obligation is 20. The obligation roll is 39. So that's actually... Oh, sorry, the total group obligation. So Jane and Dave's obligation is 20, and we rolled a 39, so nothing happens. So let's try that again. Nope. Come on. Give me a good one. I'm gonna go until somebody gets triggered. I think I'm gonna get triggered. Oh my gosh. I have like a 1 in 5 chance of actually triggering somebody's. Okay, there we go. So the total group obligation is 20. The obligation roll is 2. Dave's debt obligation has been triggered. And so now I know at the beginning of the session or whenever that, hey, Dave, you got to pay up or else those pikes are going to come and break your knees. So there you go. So the same thing works for duty. So either type out duty, but no duty has been triggered because we don't have any, or just exclamation point D. Actually, that doesn't work. It works for O because there's nothing tied to O, but you do have to type out duty, or else you're gonna get destiny. So let's say that the pikes are coming for us, and they've sent a bounty hunter after us. Not just one, but they sent 2, an assassin droid and maybe a Trandoshan bounty hunter, who may or may not have a name. So we need to go ahead and set up initiative. So if you do init, it's going to show you the current initiative, but we don't have one. So let's go ahead and roll for initiative. So init roll, and then whatever our, let's say that Dave is rolling a yellow and a green. And we're going to specify that he's a PC. So we got 1, and now you can see happy face. Those are for PCs, and then it resets. Let's go ahead and roll for Jane. So init roll, maybe she's just got 2 greens. She's also a PC, so she's rolling 2. Oh no. So now we got to roll for our bounty hunters. So we're going to roll 2 yellows, and we're going to name him NPC. And the devil is the NPC. And unfortunately, that doesn't work. Yes, if you go up and you highlight, you can edit things. So if I change this to PC, it doesn't actually re-roll because it's already registered. So yeah, just be aware of that. And our assassin, other bounty hunter, or droid, is going to also roll for that. So there I go. I think it's already put it in initiative order. So 2 successes, yes. 2 successes, 1 advantage. Yes, it's in order. Good. Okay. So let's say, okay, so we've already done 1 round of combat. So let's go ahead and go next. And next is up a PC. Oh, but wait, Jane forgot to do something, so we're going to go to previous. There we go. So I can keep on going to init next. Whoops, I totally misspelled that, but it didn't work anyways. So init next, and now it's the NPC's turn. Ooh, but my players were pretty good, and they actually destroyed one of the bounty hunters. So we're gonna go ahead and modify the initiative order to be PC, PC, NPC. And boom, it gets rid of one of the NPCs. Or I can manually set the actual order. So maybe it's PC, PC, NPC. And boom, there we go. I can, let's say that I have both of my bounty hunters, but one gets destroyed. I can go ahead and remove the 4th one from my current initiative order, and it'll get rid of one of them. Oh no, maybe Dave is dead. Too bad, Jane. Looks like you better find somebody else. Go ahead and remove 1. And now it's just a PC versus an NPC. When you're all done with combat, just go ahead and reset, and now no initiative order is set. So there we go. That's pretty much all there is to know, or everything that I've covered. One last thing, if you do species, you get a random species. So a wild draw appears. So something that you might use for your game or whatnot. So there we go. Sorry about the length of the video, but again, this is for An alternative way, if you are utilizing Roll20 for the maps, but you don't have access to the API and you need to roll your dice, you can use Discord. So thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment down below. This Discord dice box is actually in my Star Wars on my drive page, and it will be accessible, or rather this sheet will be accessible to anybody who goes into the description. You'll find a link to this page where you can view it. I won't let you edit it, sorry, because why would I? I'm probably going to use this myself someday. But you can make copies and download it and do whatever you want with your copy. And so it's got examples of very applicable rolls. I've also labeled, so like if this one is for damage, while this one would be for healing. So it's for you guys to use. You can give it to your players or whoever you think needs it. If you found this helpful, please give this video a huge thumbs up. It really makes me feel good. Plus it helps this get out to whoever needs it. So I will see you guys in the next video.